going on YouTube? But Great Blades here, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Maxace Perseus. This one is the one with the Mokume inlay, but they also did offer them in two different fat carbon fiber inlays and a Damascus inlay as well. Let's start with a measurement of the overall size here. Make sure I'm in frame. Overall size on this is, let's see, I'm at a little bit of an angle here, but just about 7 3/4 inches, maybe 7.6, a little bit under. And then for the blade length, right around 3.5 inches there, and then for the cutting edge right around 3.3. Let's see, I don't have my calipers yet, but blade stock thickness on this one is about 157 thousandths on the spine here. And this one is hollow ground with some nice flats right here in the middle, and some distributors were listing this as a drop point. I would disagree. I'd say it's probably more like a spear point in my opinion here. As for size comparisons, we'll do a size comparison with the Demco 80 20.5 up here, as well as the QSP Penguin. So it's kind of right in between, right in the middle size here. A little bit, it's a little bit longer even than the 20.5, just by a little bit, not too much. And then obviously quite a bit bigger than something like the QSP Penguin. As for carry profile, real quick, it is a little bit thicker than something like the QSP Penguin, but the QSP Penguin has flat scales, and these ones are, if you can see there, ever so slightly contoured. But then in comparison to something like the Demco 20.5, these ones do have aftermarket original goat scales on them though, but compared to something like this, it is, let me compare it, pretty much about the same here as far as your thickness on here. Alright, let's do a weight on this one here. I just have a piece of paper on here covering the top of the scale. It's a little reflective. Don't want the camera picking that up too much, but alright, what are we at here? So we're at 5.6 ounces. So like I did mention, they do have three other versions, two of them being the carbon fiber and then one being the Damascus. With this being the Mokume inlay, it's going to be a little bit heavier, or actually maybe compared to the carbon fiber one, substantially heavier, with the Damascus one sitting in the middle there somewhere. But 5.6 ounces, so it's not super light, but it's also definitely not crazy heavy, and it's got a pretty small carry profile here, so it's not too bad to carry in the pocket. It also is a titanium frame lock with a set of polished zirconium pivots. I'll try and get it a little bit closer here. Hold on. Polished zirconium pivots. And, oops. And I'm not sure if this is a just nice belt satin or maybe it is hand rubbed. I don't know if you can really see it on here, but there are some horizontal lines on here, so that kind of makes me curious. But either way, it's still a nice satin. Get a fingerprint off of that real quick. It's still a nice satin, and the kind of tumbled stone wash on the frame is nice and smooth and even. I think they did a really nice job with this. The inlays, you can't really feel any lip anywhere, you know, perfectly seated and smooth, as Maxace usually does a very, very good job on their inlay and machine work. So this version in particular was $325 with the Mokume inlay. The Damascus inlay I think was a little bit more at $350, and I believe the carbon fiber variants were right around $250, $260, maybe $270. I'd have to double check on that one, but this one, not the most expensive one, but I do really, really enjoy this Mokume inlay. I think it's just really, really stunning looking. And this is my first knife that has a Mokume inlay. I was actually looking at a couple others before this one was announced. Some other knives that had a Mokume inlay, because I kind of wanted one. I have a couple knives with Damascus and, you know, Mokutai, etc., whatever you want to call it, inlays or clips or pivot collars, etc. But I really wanted this one. As soon as I saw it, it instantly caught my eye, and I know that when Maxace does any knife that has a variant with either Mokume or Damascus or anything sort of like that, they go pretty fast. So I knew I had to snag it as soon as I could. Now, as far as action on this thing, it's pretty phenomenal. I mean, it is a, well, let's see. Yeah, I'd say definitely just a light switcher, but the action's nice. It comes out nice and consistent. And then as far as the action, it's pretty fall shut here, pretty smooth and consistent. And it's just real easy. I mean, phenomenal. Maxace always does really great work. And something else that they did that I appreciate here is, if you notice, a lot of times on Maxace knives they'll have branding, whether it's their logo or the model number or the steel type. They'll have it a lot of times on the front of the blade, and this time they don't. And truthfully, on this one, there's very little branding of any kind. So there's nothing completely clean on the front here, but then there is on the back here, if you can see, there is the model number and then the steel type, which in this case is Magna Cut. And then if you look here on the end of the clip there, they have the Maxace logo. But besides that, there is very, very little as far as branding or marketing on this one, which I appreciate that they did. And Maxace always does a really good job at heat treating their magnet cut. I think they're about 61, 62 on here. This one, also, this one, I don't know if I'll be able to catch it in here, but this one is actually running on bearings on the inside here. I don't think I'll be able to catch them, but it does run on bearings, not phosphor bronze, Teflon, or anything else. And that makes for a nice, smooth, and consistent action, which I do appreciate. And I believe if the zipper pouch that it came with is correct, it seems like it might be a collaboration with MC Studio, Midnight Cat Studios, and they've worked with Maxace before. They did the Sandstorm most recently, I think, as far as I can remember, is the most recent collaboration with them. And they also do some good designs. But what's also nice is that Maxace will always give you extra hardware and a microfiber cloth as well with all their knives. The extra hardware is really nice because a lot of times some knife companies don't even give you that, but Maxace is pretty good about always including some extra hardware, which is just, it's really nice of them, especially when their prices are so good. They are a Chinese OEM, of course, so take that with however you have feelings on Chinese knives, but not all Chinese knives are cheap crap that you might find in like a gas station or a sporting goods store or Walmart or something like that. There are manufacturers that do good work, Maxace definitely being one of them, and they always do some pretty cool designs as well, some pretty crazy outlandish sort of stuff too, and they're never afraid to include inlays, like mokume or Damascus in them, or Damascus blades or anything like that. And especially for some of the prices you can get them for, they're doing a great job. Because if a U.S. company made this exact knife, it definitely would not be $325 to $350 on the high end there. It'd probably be closer to $500 or $600. And this is just a sandwich construction. It does have a titanium backspacer here as well, which is nice. The flipper tab does have some jimping on the top here, but it's not sharp, but it is just grippy enough to help you deploy that blade, get some grip on there, but not sharp or anything like that. The sort of chamfering or letterboxing that they have around the entire frame here, also super smooth, no sharp edges or anything like that, and I think that definitely adds a nice look to it, because if this was just a flat scale, I think that would have taken away from the looks a little bit, and also the ergonomics. Ergonomically speaking, it's pretty good. It does have a little bit of jimping on the back part of the blade here, and then there is a slight notch in the top of the blade here, so you can get a pretty good purchase here. I probably wouldn't. There's no choil on the front here, just a little sharpening choil, but no finger choil, so you're definitely kind of locked in to the back here, but no hot spots squeezing down. The clip doesn't bother you at all. and at least for me with my size hands, I can get a full 4-finger grip on here and still have a little bit of space on the end here. So no troubles with that. If you have truly big hands, you might have a little bit of slippage and be more like a 3-finger knife for you. But it is still very comfortable in hand. And as far as slicing, let me see. So I have used this a little bit, but nothing too crazy. Just a little slice test here. Yeah, it's slicey for sure. I mean, yeah, like it's definitely going to handle your daily cutting tasks. If you're like me, most of what I cut tends to be paper, cardboard, some Amazon packages, you know, tape, things like that. Nothing too crazy. I definitely wouldn't go out and like baton with this, or, you know, necessarily go out and use it for camping, but for just kind of general cutting tasks, it'll perform more than enough. As far as hardware, you just have the pivot screw on both sides and then one screw on each side as well. And those are going to be T8, I believe. Get out my bit driver here. So T8. And yeah, that is going to be T8 on both the body and the pivot screws, which is nice because T6, while they do a fine job keeping your knife together, they can be a bit difficult when you have to take them apart. It can be kind of easy to strip them, so T8 is a good choice. Now, you can still, when I'm recording this, of course, you can still order them. There were some still in stock. I think most of the Mokume inlays were gone. I did see a few Timascus, and of course the carbon fiber variants were around as well. Maxace doesn't usually do a whole lot of restocking when it comes to their knives, unless they're really popular, like they have done a few before. They did restock the Neptune, their automatic knife, and they did that in I think a silver aluminum instead of the anodized. But again, they don't do very huge batches. Even though they are a Chinese company, that's not really what they do. They focus on making different designs, and they'll make some and then people buy them. There were some on some distributors. Blade HQ had some, I believe. White Mountain Knives, and then of course you can order directly from Maxace on their website, but of course the shipping time on that is going to be a little bit longer because it's coming directly from China instead of somewhere already in the US. Overall, I think they did a really great job on this. I think aesthetically it looks very nice. I think the price is really good for what it is. And also the name is just cool. The Perseus, of course, being someone from Greek mythology. He was the adventurer that killed Medusa. I'm not sure if this is something he would have carried, but the sort of spear point blade that they have on here is a little bit reminiscent of some of the swords at the time. So maybe that's part of the reason of their naming scheme, or maybe not, I'm not sure. But I do think the name is also a cool name. I think that'll be pretty much it, guys. If you enjoyed, be sure to subscribe, leave a like and a comment down below, letting me know what you think about this. If you have any questions, I'll also try and answer those. And I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Bye, guys.